Welcome to Asia Pacific Kid Entrepreneur Championship 2021, organized by Kidspreneurship, an edtech startup based in Singapore and focused on early entrepreneurship education. It all began with an idea to get students across different geographies to collaborate with each other and come up with solutions to real life problems.
How did it all start? So I think it started with a very strong belief that kids should have a entrepreneurial mindset, a problem-solving mindset. When I looked around, I saw that coding and tech skills were gaining popularity and becoming part of school's curriculum, which I think is great. But I think what is also important is to inculcate a problem-solving ability, the ability to actually step back and identify problems, and also to look at them as opportunities. So that's something which is at the core of our. I don't think the idea is to get them to start a business early on. I mean, if someone wants to, of course they can. But the idea is to make them think like an entrepreneur, to develop a mindset which is entrepreneurial, and also to give them skills and the right knowledge so that they can have exposure to the industry as well, and which gives them immense confidence at the end of the day. So Shark Tank is gaining popularity. I mean, if you talk about Shark Tank to anyone, they would know it. They would have seen some of the Shark Tank videos, and it's quite inspiring. But that's not a platform that a lot of them can get onto at this point when they don't have an operating business, especially. But that should not come in the way of them being able to, be a part of something like this, right? So the whole program, so APKEC is not a one-day event. That's what I'd like to say. It's a program where they start by attending workshops, they get mentorship from the industry, and then they're allocated challenges. They're forced to look around and look at problems and then come up with a solution and pitch it to the investors or the jury on the day of the event.
What got me excited? Actually, I've been doing a lot of corporate events, and I think I had reached a point where I wanted to have some change and do something completely different. So when Swati came to me with this concept and the idea, I loved it so much. I mean, it was completely different.
Apart from a rigorous 3 days of workshops, there were members from the industry talking to students about prototyping, teamwork, resilience, personal brand building, and understanding the power of discovering their hidden potential passion. This was a unique experience for kids, and it helped them look at the very idea of entrepreneurship from so many different directions.
Most of the big companies close down because they are not prepared for the disruptions. As I realized when I interacted with your students, you're preparing them to face the complexities with preparedness.
First of all, I would say a little cynical to begin with for kids of that age in terms of really giving them a session. But I was quite fascinated by the few questions. We only had a short period of time, but the 4 or 5 questions we got were very precise, very clear on the kids trying to articulate what their gaps and thoughts were in terms of, how does prototyping help them in creating a business plan or creating a new idea that they had in their head. So I was very fascinated by it, I must say. And so I can see the value of such a program. As I looked at it, obviously I was not involved with all the parts of it, but I think a program like this can build all-round skills outside of the standard curriculum. I think in Asia, our standard academic curriculum does not include a lot of the entrepreneurship-oriented courses. So it'll give exposure to the kids beyond what they learn typically, like the science or the economics or anything they learn, and will help them to really think of their career as they start applying for undergraduate programs in universities. I think it's a wonderful idea, I think.
Students and the young generation, my only message is going to be serendipity rules. So continue exploring, continue, having that curious bent of mind. And I'm sure something that resonates the most will only get you closer to solving the problems, building great products, or for that matter, for all one of them will go on to solve, how Elon Musk and, others are solving the bigger problems of the world.
When you had approached me, I thought it was such a brilliant idea because I haven't experienced or come across any other organization, individual. Personally, I haven't come across, anybody doing this or focusing on this. And like I told you, the early entrepreneurship program, I think, is not only about getting them to learn how to start a business. I think it's more about developing a growth mindset and the right skill set at the right age. At our time, nothing like this existed, right? We developed these things, critical thinking, innovation, all of this at a much later stage.
Yeah.
So if this is part of their education at an early stage and at an early age, I think it is hugely beneficial because there's a lot of, the society is changing and evolving every day. And to be able to adapt to that change and to be able to think what is the future and what is required to be done in the future, I think if we put this as part of their curriculum, we are setting them up for huge success as they grow up. I think this can become a very valuable event and a very innovative brand, so to say, moving forward. And I would love to see it like that.
Finding Asia Pacific Kid Entrepreneur of the Year. That's the task jury faces as they see students pitch their ideas. Ideas range from food security to social development of kids to impact of COVID-19. These very young budding entrepreneurs have a solution for everything.
Hi, I'm Kshama from Indigo Kids. Thank you so much for having me as a juror. I think entrepreneurship is all about thinking out of the box. It's about building resilience and patience and really nurturing a drive to make things happen. And all of these are lifelong qualities that will help young children in their future. That's why I think early entrepreneurship education is something that we should all be nurturing and giving our kids the opportunity to participate in.
I'm a big believer in entrepreneurial dreams, and I think I'm a big believer in exposure. So, whether these kids go on to become entrepreneurs or not, I think that, that's their choice. But I think what I'm excited about is that they get this platform, this opportunity to learn, to kind of express themselves, to ideate, to kind of co-create and just give it a shot. I think that's what excites me, because I think it's important that in parallel to the academic system that we all go through, I think it's important that kids, teenagers, even adults, all of us get an opportunity to understand how do we spot opportunities, how do we make sense of them commercially, and how do we potentially scale to kind of create employment, to create value for our society. So I think with that in mind, I'm just excited about the potential learning opportunity and exposure. To me, I think what excited me is the fact that they just have a chance to express themselves. Because again, these kids, especially the 9-10-year-old, it's pretty young, pretty early. But I think we've all heard of some very, very successful stories of whether people have gone on to become entrepreneurs or corporate leaders. I think the exposure to solve problems, to break things, to make things, to look at the commercial angle. So again, like I said, I don't know how life will pan out for most of these folks, and that's their choice. I just hope that they get a chance to, think of different problem sets with an open mind, that get a chance to build things, they get a chance to kind of express themselves. Because I think through this, hopefully many will pick up soft skills of how to present, of how to answer questions, of how to handle stress when perhaps some of us judges or the panel might, quiz them on certain things. So I think that even the soft skill element, I think, is priceless. So yeah, when I saw that poster, when I saw that email, I thought this could be wonderful, because I've done this for mostly the adult, audience segments. I've done one for teenagers, but I think when I saw that even potentially 8 to 10-year-olds have an opportunity to kind of get onto this platform, that sounded pretty intriguing.
All the participants are hoping to win the coveted trophy, and the jury comprises 5 very notable members from India and Singapore that get to decide who takes home this trophy. Jury will focus on 4 key areas: understanding and defining of the problem. Does the solution have the potential to solve the problem? Clarity in presenting the solution. And lastly, overall impact of the idea. During this whole process, there was unrelenting support from parents, schools, and the much needed enthusiasm of students.
To me, when I heard of this program, I immediately signed them up, because to me, I think early entrepreneur education is a grooming time and a very good seasoning for them when they are young, especially when their minds are curious.
Well, I saw Devansh really enjoy the entire process, especially the little activities and workshops that preceded the challenge. Yes, they've thoroughly enjoyed it. And at the same time, I have seen him, talk about things, I didn't think he will talk about in this age, such as a pitch, a business plan. I'm going to market this. So, and why not, right? And it seems to like that they really understood it. And that's why they have been able to implement it, which was great.
Through such programs, every kid will learn that how, if they have an idea in their mind, and how they can make it big, how they can make their dreams come true, and at the same time bring a meaningful change to the world by solving people's problems. Kids are learning about ratio and proportion, percentage in school, but that's all. It's all in the book. Where is the real application? Application will come out from such practical programs.
Learning on a platform like this, to be under the guidance through the whole process that we went through with you guys, it was not so that was like an early head start to building skills of thinking in an entrepreneurial direction for them. So it was not about starting their business, but it was about having a growth oriented mindset. I could see when they started brainstorming with their ideas, and how the different aspects they could think about, that how do we make money out of this small thing, how can it be all inclusive, how can it make a difference overall, and but how are we going to make a prototype in a small time? Teamwork together, accepting each other's ideas, not battling it out. To do this at a young age is really wonderful to be learning at that stage. 100%, there is no doubt in my mind that the children and the generation or the world that we are moving towards is going to be adapting or benefiting from programs like this. Yes, I would definitely recommend, advocate, enroll Kahan in classes like this if it's a part of the school curriculum. There was a guidance and help available at all times. There were the workshops that were conducted by people who were experts in their own fields. Like I said earlier about, I knew that there were workshops on designing prototypes, team leadership building, being resourceful, taking initiative, importance of empathy, all these kind of workshops that were done. Just being mindful, the first two workshops that Miss Swati also ended up doing with the kids, little exercises that she did, they were really, really impactful. So I think, you guys did a wonderful job.
Entrepreneurship education program, it helps in increasing the employability for the future. It also aims at enhancing student skills and abilities such as retrieval and handling of information, communication and presentation, planning and problem solving skills, and social development and interaction with others.
I think this program is amazing. Plus, it would definitely help us in the future. So I would really encourage a lot of people to join this program in the future.
The program was definitely an eye-opener for us, which allowed us to see many things in a way that we wouldn't normally look at the problem. It was really, they taught us a lot of values and how to find our passion.
We came across a few problems that we had to use what we learned inside the workshop, and it was really very useful, especially since we took notes during the workshop, so we could refer back to it.
I think it's a very creative way of making kids and roping them in and keeping their interest. I think this competition and all is also a really good way of testing what we've learned and applying our skills. It's been a very different way of exerting my skills because I've not really done something like this before. So it's been very interesting and exciting. And I've done little projects, but just like presentation and proper things that people do at MBAs, and I'm getting to do this at a younger age. So it's fun.
An excellent experience. I've had a lot of fun with the different activities and challenges also after every workshop. And every workshop I'm getting to learn something new about entrepreneurship.
I'm really excited for the 27th because I'll be recording my first business pitch.
It is heartening to have participation from more than 5 countries in the maiden year of the event. Looking forward to some great thought-provoking ideas.